There is a specific kind of loneliness that exists late at night, when the rest of the world has drifted into sleep and you are the only one left awake to turn the dial of an old radio. You scroll past the polished pop songs and the 24-hour news cycles, venturing into the static-filled wastelands of the shortwave spectrum, where the rules of commercial broadcasting do not apply. Here, in the white noise between stations, you might stumble upon a sound that makes the hair on your arms stand up, a rhythmic, mechanical buzzing, or a synthesized melody playing on an endless loop, and then, a voice cuts through the crackle, devoid of emotion, reading a string of numbers that mean nothing to you, but might mean life or death to a spy hiding in a basement 3,000 miles away. Welcome to the world of number stations, the ghosts of the airwaves that have been haunting the radio spectrum since the dawn of the Cold War. Whispering secrets in plain sight, these broadcasts are not urban legends or internet creepypastas. They are documented, verifiable phenomena that have been recorded by amateur enthusiasts and intelligence agencies alike for over 70 years. The premise is terrifyingly simple. A powerful transmitter blasts a signal across the globe, carrying a coded message that can be picked up by anyone with a cheap radio, yet understood by only one person holding the correct decryption key. It is the ultimate uncrackable code, a one-time pad system where the message is buried in a sea of randomness, and the receiver leaves no digital footprint to be traced by counterintelligence. But knowing the logical explanation does nothing to dampen the visceral dread of hearing a child's voice recite Cinco, Siete, Uno, over and over again into the void of the night. One of the most famous and unsettling examples is UVB-76, also known as the Buzzer, a station located deep within the swamplands of Russia that has been emitting a monotonous drone since the 1970s. For decades, 24 hours a day, it has broadcast a harsh, metallic buzz, interrupted only rarely by a live human voice reading a string of Russian names and numbers before returning to the drone. The chilling part of the buzzer is not just the sound, but the implication of its persistence. It continued through the fall of the Berlin Wall, the collapse of the Soviet Union, and the rise of the modern internet. Some theorists believe it is a dead hand switch, a nuclear trigger that monitors for signs of life in Moscow, ready to launch an automated retaliation if the buzzing ever stops. Others claim it is merely a channel marker for the Russian military, keeping the frequency clear for emergency orders, a sleeping giant waiting for a war that hasn't started yet. But listening to it feels like listening to the heartbeat of a doomsday machine, a relentless reminder that there are systems in place designed to outlast humanity itself. Then there was the Lincolnshire Poacher, a station that broadcast the first 2 bars of an English folk tune, followed by a synthesized female voice reading groups of 5 numbers, originating from a Royal Air Force base in Cyprus. It was the sound of British intelligence reaching out to its agents in the Middle East, a nursery rhyme weaponized into a tool of espionage. Imagine being a spy in a hostile country, sitting in a dark room with headphones pressed to your ears, waiting for that cheerful, eerie tune to tell you your next mission. These stations turn the entire planet into a whispering gallery, where the air around us is thick with invisible orders to assassinate, to extraction, or to remain silent. But the mystery deepens when we move away from the political and into the inexplicable, where the signals defy the logic of state-sponsored cryptography. There is the Whistler, a signal that sounds like a sci-fi laser battle or a descending rocket, caused not by humans, but by lightning strikes traveling along the Earth's magnetic field lines. While we know the scientific cause now, imagine the terror of early radio operators hearing these cosmic screams and thinking they were intercepting communications from another world. The backward music station is another anomaly, a signal that sounds like a chaotic, underwater orchestra playing in reverse, leading to wild theories about submerged alien bases or interdimensional leaks. In reality, it is likely a high-speed data transmission that our human ears interpret as music, but the sound remains one of the most unsettling audio experiences available to the public. It forces us to confront the limitations of our senses. We are surrounded by a cacophony of information that we cannot process, a constant, invisible noise that shapes our reality without our consent. As we moved into the digital age, many predicted the death of shortwave radio, assuming the internet and satellite encryption would make these analog dinosaurs extinct. Yet, the number stations persisted, and in some cases, evolved, becoming even more elusive and complex. In the era of cyber warfare, new signals have appeared, utilizing digital burst transmissions that compress a message into a split-second screech of static, virtually impossible to detect unless you are recording the exact right frequency at the exact right millisecond. This is the digital divide of the spy world, where the eerie human voices have been replaced by the cold, efficient language of machines talking to machines. But there is a nostalgic horror in the old analog ways that digital tech cannot replicate. A computer code feels sterile, while a human voice reading numbers feels personal and desperate. The Yosemite Sam station, which broadcast a clip of the cartoon character saying "Varmint, I'm gonna blow you to smithereens," is a bizarre example of the psychological games played on these frequencies. Was it a joke by a board operator, a test of a new transmitter, or a menacing threat directed at a specific enemy listening on the other side of the border? The ambiguity is the weapon. The fact that we don't know the intent makes every pop and hiss of the radio potential nightmare fuel. There are communities of dedicated listeners, known as DXers, who spend their lives hunting these signals, logging them in massive databases, and trying to triangulate their origins. They are the cartographers of the invisible, mapping the shifting landscape of the radio spectrum and noting when a station goes silent or changes its pattern. These hobbyists were the first to notice when UVB76 changed its format in 2010, broadcasting strange conversations and muffled arguments in the background, suggesting a live microphone had been left open in the bunker. For a brief moment, the veil dropped, and we heard the mundane reality of the people operating the machine, reminding us that there are human fingers on the switches. But who are these operators, sitting in remote outposts for 12-hour shifts, reading numbers into a microphone for an audience of shadows? Do they know what the numbers mean, or are they just as much a cog in the machine as the transmitter itself, following orders without comprehension? The psychological toll of such a job must be immense, a life spent shouting into a void, never knowing if the message was received, or if the recipient is even still alive. Occasionally, a signal will appear that fits no known profile. A phantom broadcast that breaks all the rules of standard number stations. In 2017, a series of aggressive jamming signals appeared on frequencies reserved for emergency services, broadcasting high-pitched screaming and distorted political speeches. These pirate broadcasts act as graffiti on the airwaves, acts of sonic vandalism that disrupt the orderly flow of information and inject chaos into the system. They remind us that the radio spectrum is a public space that can be hijacked, a wild west where the sheriff is far away and the outlaws have powerful transmitters. There is also the chilling possibility that some of these signals are not coming from governments or pirates, but from automated systems that have been forgotten. Imagine a solar-powered buoy in the middle of the Pacific, or a repeater station in a snowy mountain pass, continuing to broadcast its status report long after the civilization that built it has stopped listening. These orphan signals are the technological equivalent of a ghost, a repetition of a life that once was, echoing into a future that has moved on. We listen to them because we are hardwired to look for patterns, to find meaning in the noise, and to believe that if someone is speaking, they must have something to say. The static is a mirror. When we stare into it long enough, we start to project our own fears and hopes onto the random fluctuations of the electromagnetic field. We hear voices where there is only wind. We hear codes where there is only interference. We hear intelligence where there is only electricity. But the most disturbing thought is not that we are imagining it, but that we are right, that there is an intelligence behind the static, and it is watching us. Recent developments in software-defined radio SDR have democratized the mystery, allowing anyone with an internet connection to tune into receivers all over the world. You can sit in your bedroom in New York and listen to the radio chatter of a fishing fleet in Tokyo or a military base in Ukraine, shrinking the world instantly. This global network of listeners has turned the hunt for cryptic broadcasts into a massive, crowdsourced investigation where no signal can hide for long. Yet, despite the thousands of ears listening, the core mysteries remain unsolved. We know where the buzzer is, but we still don't know why it buzzes. The persistence of these mysteries in an age of total information is comforting in a strange way. It proves that the world is still capable of keeping a secret. It suggests that there are still dark corners of the map, even if that map is electromagnetic rather than geographic. As we ponder the future of these signals, we must consider the rise of AI and generated voice synthesis, which will make the next generation of number stations indistinguishable from real humans. We may soon reach a point where the entire radio spectrum is populated by artificial voices talking to artificial ears, a conversation between machines that we are merely eavesdropping on. The cryptic broadcast is a genre of reality that blurs the line between technology and the occult, turning a simple radio into a spirit box. Every time you turn on a radio, you are opening a door, and you have no control over what walks through it. It might be a classic rock station, it might be a talk show, or it might be a cold, monotone voice reciting the coordinates of your own city. The fear comes from the proximity. These radio waves are passing through your body right now, carrying their secrets through your walls and through your skin. You are physically immersed in the broadcast. Whether you are tuning in or not, you are a silent participant in the global spy game. So, the next time you find yourself awake at 3 a.m., unable to sleep, dare to turn on the radio and scroll down to the lower frequencies. Listen to the hiss of the universe, the background radiation of the Big Bang mixed with the chatter of humanity. And if you hear a voice reading numbers, do not write them down, do not try to decode them, and do not assume they are meant for you. Just listen and acknowledge the strange, fragile connection between the broadcaster and the void, because in the end, we are all just broadcasting our own signals, hoping that someone, somewhere, is tuning in to hear us. The radio is not dead, it is merely waiting for the sun to go down so it can start whispering again. The Lincolnshire Poacher may have gone silent, but the melody lingers in the minds of everyone who heard it, a haunting earworm of the Cold War. The mystery of the late-night signal is a reminder that we are small, and the systems we have built are vast and incomprehensible. There are things happening in the sky above our heads that we are not meant to know, conversations that decide the fate of nations carried on the wind. We are the unintended audience, the ghosts in the machine, listening to a play that was written for an empty theater. The static is rising now, the signal is fading, and the voice is returning to the noise from which it came. But remember, just because you turned the radio off, it doesn't mean the broadcast stops. It continues in the silence, in the dark, in the air you breathe. Keep listening, watch the frequencies, and never trust a silence that sounds too perfect. This is the end of our transmission. 5, 9, 2, 1, 0.